What do you think about Black Beauty defending you now? I don't trust her.
Black Demon, Mura has rejected you. Mura goes after Black Demon. I hate reactors. Positive reactors also got called. So someone baited Kenge during his live stream by asking him about Black Demon. Sensor responded by saying that he hates reactors, especially those who focus on negativity. According to Kenge, positive reactors should not simply amplify what the lazy gang says about him. Instead, if you genuinely support Kenge, why not watch his videos and talk about the positive things he's doing in the society? He questions why people who claim to support him continue watching videos from people who are being considered as his haters, only to amplify what they said. So, Sensor basically said, watch my videos, talk about what I'm doing. Yeah, if you see Kenge building a house, go and say Kenge is doing this, or Kenge has achieved that. If you have constructive criticism, give it to me respectfully, because I am not perfect. But Kenge clearly seems frustrated with reactors who constantly repeat what the lazy gang says about him instead of focusing on their own content. And this raises another question. How long will Kenge continue calling them the lazy gang and criticizing even the so-called positive reactor? If you're seated here watching me and you are self-proclaimed positive reactor, the like of the big watermelon head, the like of this other lady here in Kisia, and the other people who call themselves positive, Kenge has said he does not want you people. So this is not the first time Kenge has come on camera and made clear that he does not need the reactors. He repeatedly said that he will not accept certain people into the villa and they are not welcomed there. So this tells us that Kenge finally has drawn a line between himself and the reactor who claim to support him. Or does he simply want people to focus on his content instead of going to YouTube drama? Before that, let us watch how Black Demon attacked Minhawi. After that, I'm going to digest what Kenge told Black Beauty TV. Stay tuned.
I watch Baki Baki, guys. If you see how Baki Baki is breathing, Baki Baki, seeing you alone, I am already diagnosing you with a full bucket of cholesterol. Look at yourself. Your name na cholesterol. Your name na diabetic. You Baki Baki, you are full of cholesterol. Go and check yourself.
Black Demon talks about Minhawi cholesterol and diabetes and says Cloud Joseph used to be big, and if it wasn't for Minhawi, that point was really disgusting. That lady, she's so freaking. I don't know what she's about. She's talking about the lazy gang wanting to turn her into a monster. Hey Shosh, you are already a monster. You are the self-proclaimed CEO of Lazy Gang. Look at your video. You are the one who gave Mawango the name Agama Lizard. You are the one who called Rosillo Salvador. You are the one who called David Jr. Chigalo Monster. You called Kenge a scammer, a beggar. You went ahead and called Congress Mom a witch. You even went ahead and called JT Podcast Johnny Boy. Now, who wants to turn who into a monster? And now, you are talking about being positive. You are not positive. What you are doing is transferring the negative energy away from Kenge. There was a time Kenge wished cancer on Reactors children, and even you, Black Demon, you were very mad about it. She did several videos calling Mura Senso out. Now, she's attacking Kohera Senior, saying that he is a sperm donor. She's attacking Rocio again. Senso himself, during the last live stream, he said, if you want to react to my videos, react positively about him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is Maxwell Lumumba Africa. For those who are coming across this YouTube channel for the first time, I do reaction videos, especially to the videos that have been posted in public domain. Like today, I'll be discussing about Black Demon crossed the line, Minhawi, Kohera, and Rocio dragged into a new drama. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who have not subscribed to this amazing YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share this video to other individuals. Remember to turn on the notification bell so that any day, anytime I post any video, you people get notified. Watch my videos from the beginning up to the end without skipping those ads that you see there. And let me start this video by asking this. How can you predict cholesterol and diabetes just by watching Minhawi? Ladies and gentlemen, because there is one particular point that really caught my attention. Black Demon was talking about Minhawi health, including cholesterol and diabetes, and apparently connected that to the way Minhawi breathes. And I had to stop. Wait a minute. How exactly do you look at somebody on YouTube, watch them breathing heavily, and then state, or you start predicting that they have cholesterol or diabetes? How? What test was done? Where was the blood sample taken to? Where are the laboratory results? Where is the medical examination? Because breathing heavily can happen for so many different reasons. You can look at someone through the YouTube screen and confidently determine what medical condition do they really have. Somebody's calling me, but let me hang it up, yeah? Okay, sorry for that, because somebody was trying to interrupt me, but have just hung up. Sorry for that. And that is where I think we need to be very careful. Let me start by talking the common sense. I'm not here to diagnose Minhawi. I'm not her doctor, and Black Demon isn't her doctor either, as far as I know. So why are we turning somebody appearance to or breathing pattern into a medical diagnosis? If somebody is genuinely concerned about another person's health, the responsible thing is very simple. Tell them to see a qualified healthcare professional. That's it. You don't need to diagnose them yourself. You don't need to announce that their supposed medical condition thousands of people. This is the reason why the last time Auntie Dami was doing a video, she said this, yeah? Black Demon will be fixing Minhawi at her place. So this tells her that this is a discussion that they sat down, discussed about it. Now they're bringing out false allegations. And once you start publicly speculating about somebody's health, another call, sorry for that, yeah? You know, it is daytime here in Kenya, so you get that you receive a lot of calls. So once you publicly start speculating about somebody's health, you are entering a completely different history. And let me start by the heavy breathing. Does not tell you the whole story. So phones are becoming so many. I don't know why when you ignore somebody's call, they keep on calling. So far 3 people have called me, but I'll be talking to them because, you know, even I have I don't know, I have running nose. I also have like cough, so I'll be checking on my dick after this video. So let us be very clear. Someone breathing heavily does not automatically mean they have diabetes. It doesn't automatically mean that they have high levels of cholesterol. There are many possible explanations for heavy breathing. Someone could have just walked. They could be excited. They could be so nervous. They could be talking continuously. They could be so stressed. They could have been exercising. They could have been having respiratory problems. So they could simply be out of breathing at that particular moment. There are many possibilities. You don't actually know. When somebody reacts on you, you become so nervous. Yeah, you become so, not even tense, you become so much agitated because you want to disrespect this person. You have to call this person a lot of names so that to clear your name. So that precisely why medical profession don't diagnose conditions simply by watching a particular person for a few seconds. They take history. That is why when you go to medical centers, the first thing they take history. They start asking you, when did it start? How do you feel? So many questions. They examine the person. They perform appropriate tests and they reach a conclusion. Let me speak about the cholesterol question and let me talk about cholesterol specifically. How do you know somebody has cholesterol level by watching them breathing? You don't. Cholesterol is something that is measured through a blood test. You don't look at somebody and say, yes, this person has high levels of cholesterol. The answer is no. You need actual medical assessment. So when I hear somebody talking that kind of prediction about another person, my question is very simple. Where is the evidence? Let us not gossip, not appearance. Where are the medical results? And let me talk about diabetes. The same thing applies to diabetes. Diabetes is not just something you diagnose because somebody is breathing heavily on camera. They are established medical tests used to determine whether somebody has diabetes. So if Minhawi has never publicly said she has diabetes, why should anybody watching a YouTube video decide that she has it? That is my question. And this is where I think creators have to exercise some responsibility. You can criticize someone's content. You can criticize their opinion. You can disagree with their videos, but health is different matter. And let me say why this is becoming personal. And this is what bothers me about these YouTube drama sometimes. A disagreement starts with content, then it moves to someone's personality, then appearance, then relationship, then family, and eventually we are talking about someone's health. At that point, I have to ask, where are we going with this? What happens to discussions that should be discussed the actual way? If Minhawi made a video, you disagree with her, respond to the video. So if she said something you believe it is wrong, explain why it is wrong. If you have evidence that contradicts what she said, bring the evidence. But why turn somebody's breathing into a medical diagnosis? So that one is so bad, and we condemn that. So let me talk about Minhawi's response. And that is why I understand why Minhawi had to respond strongly to Black Demon. She has been relatively quiet for some time, and now she's basically saying, I have been silent. Why are you trying to bring me back into the reaction business? That's an interesting question, because sometimes people leave drama behind. They move on. They start doing something else. They try building their own type of audience, and then suddenly their name gets pulled back into the same environment they left. Naturally, they are going to ask, why me? And the biggest question is this: what exactly is positive reaction content? Because we have had people describe themselves as positive reactors. That is perfectly fine, but positivity should be visible in the content. If you are constantly talking about other reactor, constantly responding to criticism, constantly discussing drama, then viewers are going to make their own judgment. You cannot control what people call your content. Your upload defines your channel. If the majority of your content is about conflict, people are going to associate your channel with the same conflict. That's just how YouTube work. And let us not turn YouTube into doctor's office. And I'm not saying nobody should ever discuss about health. Health education is important. People should talk about diabetes. People should talk about cholesterol. But people should not bring people's name suspecting to be this form when it comes to health condition. So people should check their cholesterol and saying that person has cholesterol because of the way she breathes. Those are completely different statements. One is health education, the other one is speculation about an individual medical condition. And I think creators should understand the difference. Before I go to Mura Senso, let me say this. So, Black Demon, Minhawi, and everybody watching this drama, my message is simple. Disagree, debate, react, criticize the video, challenge opinion. That is part of YouTube. But let us not turn assumption into medical diagnosis. If you genuinely concerned about somebody's health, then tell them to see the doctor. And for Minhawi, if you're watching this, nobody watching a YouTube video can determine your medical condition simply because you're breathing so heavily. You are healthy, continue living your life. If you are concerned about your health, get checked up by a qualified professional and let the results speak for themselves. And to everyone watching, don't let YouTube drama convince you that every statement somebody makes is medical fact. A camera is not a laboratory. A reaction video is not a medical examination. Thank you for watching. Let me now change to Mura Senso. Stay tuned as we continue. This is what Mura Senso had to tell Black Demon.
What do you think about Black Beauty defending you now? I don't trust her. So the thing is, I don't watch reactors 100%. Most people tend to use my name just to make money. So the issue I have with positive reaction is because they're always reacting on the negative. Like, oh, this negative person said this. No, it's not true. It's like amplifying the negative. I would really appreciate, I swear before God, I really appreciate a positive reactor who watches my video and reacts from my videos like 100%, rather than a positive reactor who watches negative people to react on that in the name of positive.
Kenge tells Black Demon, I don't want you to protect me. During the live stream, somebody brought up about Black Demon, and judging from Kenge's reaction, this was clearly a subject that touched a nerve. Kenge said he hates reactors, but he didn't stop there, but he went after the mentality of people who claim to support him while spending their time watching and amplifying content from people he considers as haters. And his argument was basically, if you really love Kenge, why aren't you talking about Kenge? Why are you watching somebody else's video about Kenge, then taking everything that person said and repeat it? Why not go directly to the source itself? Go to Kenge's channel, watch what Kenge is actually doing. If he's building a house, talk about these houses being built by Kenge. If we start a project, talk about the project. If he's helping somebody, talk about the help. If he's traveling, talk about the travel. If he's making progress, talk about the progress. If he is polluting, make sure you are there in his back and you sneeze it out. That appears to be the kind of reaction that Kenge wants. In that statement, he says, watch my videos. Kenge's message was essentially, watch my videos. Don't spend your entire time watching somebody he considers as a hater just to come back and repeat what he said about him. He wants people to say, Kenge is building this, Kenge has done this, Kenge is working on that, Kenge has achieved this. And if you see something wrong, give him constructive criticism. But do it respectfully, because as Kenge himself acknowledged, he is not perfect. And honestly, that is an important distinction. There is a difference between constructive criticism and simply attacking somebody. Constructive criticism says, Kenge, I think you could have handled these better. Kenge, this project needs an improvement. Kenge, I don't agree with this decision, and here it's why. That's very different from spending an entire video insulting someone. And Kenge clearly seems to be saying he prefers this approach, and that is what Kenge said. But then comes the big question. If Kenge doesn't like reactors, why does he continue talking about him? He says, I don't watch reactors. How did you know that Bbtv protects you? How did you know the likes of the big-headed watermelon head? That's where things get interesting, because every time Kenge mentioned the lazy gang, the conversation continued. Every time he responded to a reactor, that reactor gets more attention. Every time he tells people, don't watch them, some people immediately become very curious. They want to know, who are these people? What did they say? Why is Kenge angry? And that's the strange cycle of YouTube. If somebody come and react to Maxwell Lumumba, people will come and see, who is this Maxwell Lumumba? You can tell people, don't watch that video, but sometimes telling people not to watch, sometimes make them watch or want to watch it even more. And let me say this, Kenge and the lazy gang, because Kenge has repeatedly used the term reactors, where referring to people who are who he believes to be against him. And now he's saying that even people who claim to be positive reactors should not be amplifying what the lazy gang says. His position appears to be, don't become a messenger for people you claim to disagree with. And this message is giving it to the likes of Marwa, Omaje, and so many other people. So, if somebody attacks Kenge, don't spend your entire video repeating the accusation. Instead, go directly to Kenge's content, watch it, analyze it, then give your own opinion. That's completely different approach. But what does Kenge want? This is the question I think viewers need to ask. Does Kenge wants positive reactors, or does he want no reaction at all? Because there are two different things here. If you want reactors, then naturally some of them are going to criticize you. If you only want people to praise you, then you are not really asking for reaction. You are asking for promotion. So Kenge wants to get promotion, and that is where the conversation becomes much complicated, because reactors' job is not necessarily to agree with the person they are reacting to. A reactor can praise you. A reactor can disagree with you. A reactor can even say, I like what Kenge is doing here, but I completely disagree with what he did over there. That is still a reaction. And Kenge himself said he is not perfect. So when you hear somebody saying, I'm not perfect, so perhaps the real question isn't whether reactors should criticize him. Perhaps the question is, how should they criticize him? And there is this question that comes up about the villa question. And then there is another part of the message that cannot be ignored. Kenge has made it clear that certain people are not welcomed at his villa. He basically saying, I don't need you. I don't need your support. I don't invite you to my villa. You are not welcomed to my space. That is a very strong message. And if that is his position, then people have to respect it. But it also creates interesting dynamic, because if you don't want somebody around you personally, does that mean they cannot talk about you publicly? Of course not. And that is an interesting, this calling me again. And that is an interesting, you cannot control anybody who enters your house. You can control who invite into the villa. So, but once you are a public creator, people are going to have opinions about your content. Some will praise you, some will criticize you, some will misunderstand you, and some will defend you, and some will react to everything you do. That is part of a public figure on YouTube. And Black Beauty entered this story, and then we come back to her. Why did that name trigger so much very strong response? What exactly does Kenge dislike about Black Beauty content? Is it the criticism? Is it the way criticism is being presented? Is it because Kenge believes Bbtv is amplifying people he considers his enemy? Or is Kenge simply tired of the entire Reactors ecosystem? Because when Kenge says, I hate Reactors, that is a very broad statement, and it raises another question. Does that include the Reactors who defend him? Because if you want to say or to hate a reactor, but some Reactors are constantly defending you, where do you stand? Are they still Reactors, or do they or are they your supporters? And let me talk about the positive Reactors. And this is probably the most interesting part of the whole conversation. Kenge seems to be telling positive Reactors, stop reacting to negativity. Don't spend your time saying, look what this lazy gang is saying about Mora. Look, that person said. Look, that person never said this. Kenge has been attacked by him. Instead, he wants, look at what Kenge is building. Look at what Marwa is doing. Look at this project. Look at this achievement. And these were something wrong. Yeah? Explain it, respect. That sounds like a very simple formula. But here's the problem. drama gets attention. Positive content can sometimes struggle to generate the same level of curiosity. So, if somebody uploads a video, Kenge builds a beautiful house, people may watch, but if the title says Kenge respond to his haters, suddenly people become curious. That's the reality of the reaction content. So, is censor right? I know people will be asking that. Well, that depends on what you are expecting from a reactor. If you are looking for somebody to simply praise Kenge, then perhaps Kenge is on point. If you are looking for somebody who analyzes his content fairly, then criticism is inevitable. And if you are looking for somebody who will attack Kenge every single day, then that is completely different type of content. But one thing is clear. Kenge wants control over the narrative surrounding him. He wants people to directly do this to his channel. He wants people to see what he's actually doing. He wants supporters to talk about his achievement instead of constantly recycling criticism from people he considers to be enemy. And he wants criticism to be very much constructive and respectful. That is the message I'm getting and I'm hearing from these. But hear the irony. Kenge says, don't amplify the lazy gang. But even time he mentioned the lazy gang, he brings back into the conversation. Every time he talks about reactors, people start looking for those reactors. Maxwell Lumumba, I don't know who, don't watch them. People become very curious about what they are saying, and this is why YouTube drama continues. One creator responds, another creator react, another person react to the reason, then somebody reacts to that reaction, and before you know it all, one statement becomes 5 videos, 5 videos become 50 words, and the cycle continue. How long will Kenge continue calling people lazy gang or reactors? Yeah, how long will you continue responding to reactors? How long will you react or reactors continue responding to Kenge? How long will viewers continue watching both sides? Because at some point somebody has to decide, I am with this cycle. Maybe that is what censor is actually trying to say. Maybe that is what he's trying to tell us. Stop bringing drama into me. Stop telling me what they said. Stop amplifying what this has been said about me. Having said that, let me end this conversation from here. I want to see myself if I'll be visiting a medic so that I can't be diagnosed. You know, I'm not talking with my nose. Yeah, my mouth is not mouthing. So let us meet in the next video. Goodbye.